Okay. Okay, so welcome to week 1 match. We have Neeran in seat 1, Vinod on seat 2, Suraj in seat 3, and Navin in seat 4. Starting with Neeran, your questions. Many important characters in the Netflix show Money Heist use names of cities as code names. With coordinates of 22.90 degrees south, 43.17 degrees west, the character Anibal Cortez is Money Heist goes by the name of which former national capital? The photo should help.
Is this Rio de Janeiro?
That is correct. Actually, it's just Rio, but they're asking for the city, so Rio is okay. Second question. Anderson et al. v. Pacific Gas and Electric was a 1993 class action lawsuit filed by the residents of a remote town in California against an energy giant which dumped poisonous chemicals into sources of drinking water. The case was settled for $333 million, the largest settlement of a U.S. class action lawsuit at the time. The case, and particularly one woman's efforts for it, have been immortalized in which Oscar-winning 2000 film?
Could you please scroll down just to make sure we can see the whole text? I'm not sure about the others, but I still can't see it, but Erin Brockovich is my guess.
Erin Brockovich is correct. I think that may be something on your end because I'm displaying the whole screen, so.
Thanks.
Okay, Vinod, your questions. The Lumiere brothers held their first public screening of Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory in late 1895, considered the birth of film, after they had acquired the patent for what invention of Léon Bouly earlier that year. Derived from the Greek for writing in movement, this was the first advanced projector to be offered for sale, and it lives on in the name of the art of motion picture photography. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you hear me?
Once again, it seems that you froze for a bit. Sorry.
I think I've lost my connection. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I
can you hear me?
Now. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah.
Do you have the answer?
Sorry, guys. I think I lost my connection. I'm just moving.
Okay.
Terribly sorry about this. I missed the end of the second question as well. So I guess Neeran answered it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at it now. Okay.
I'm gonna give you 10 seconds more.
Thank you. Thank you. So basically, this is cinematography.
Cinematograph is correct, yes. In Greece, saganaki is the name given to any food made in a small frying pan of the same name, although it is almost always the fried version of what food item? Malakoff in Switzerland is also a fried version of the same item, although it is a bowl compared to the rectangular slab of saganaki.
Is cheese what you're looking for?
Cheese is correct. Okay, Suraj, your questions. The acclaimed autobiographical graphic novel, They Called Us Enemy, was co-written by this actor and tells the true story of his family's 3-year-long imprisonment in a Japanese-American internment camp. Which actor is this, who is internationally known for his role as Hikaru Sulu, helmsman of USS Enterprise in the TV series Star Trek and subsequent films?
Takei.
George Takei is correct. Second question, Suraj. According to art historians, this painting's symmetry, dark tones, and the manner in which the artist raises his hands to the middle of his chest suggests that the artist is posing as whom? The artist's initials AD has been interpreted as his way to imitate this figure in his life and work as set out in Thomas à Kempis' De Imitazione blank. Ten seconds.
Pass.
Okay, Navin.
This is Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ is correct. Navin, your questions now. What small, shallow dish, often paired with a key vessel, derives its name from late Latin salsarium, meaning of or for salted things? The term originally referred to a small dish or pan in which a liquid condiment is set on a table, though that purpose is rarely served now except in some Italian restaurants to provide a dip for bread. Ten seconds.
Salad.
That's wrong. Neeran?
Is it saucer?
Saucer is correct. As you can see, S-A-U-C-E-R. Second question, Michael Jackson collaborated with this celebrated English songwriter on multiple songs, including The Girl Is Mine, The Man, and Say, Say, Say. The Girl Is Mine was the first single released from MJ's Thriller album. The Englishman featured the song Say, Say, Say on his album Pipes of Peace. Who was this Englishman, a member of one of the best-selling acts of all time?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney is correct. That concludes round one. Starting round two, Neeran, the questions. Angels on Horseback is a hot appetizer served in England that makes use of which prized food item, skewered and wrapped in bacon? Traditionally meant to be served as a palate cleanser after a meal, the star ingredient is sourced from the estuary of Thames, sometimes reflected even in the city's metro card.
Is it caviar?
That's wrong. Vinod?
Oyster.
Oyster is correct. Second question, Neeran. In the popular BBC quiz show helmed by Alexander Armstrong and Richard Osman that has been adapted into a titular board game, players have to think of obscure answers to trivia questions in order to score the fewest points possible. Questions might be along the lines of name a film directed by Steven Spielberg, but the rarer your answer compared to a random survey of 100 people, the better your chance of winning. Which board game or quiz show?
No idea. Pass.
Suraj?
Pass.
Vinod?
Pointless.
Pointless is correct. Okay, Vinod, your questions now. Which magician, believed to be the highest selling in history, often starts his show with his trademark flying illusion, wherein he appears to hover over the stage for several minutes while surrounded by audience members? With a Dickensian-sounding name, his trade secrets can be found on the moon as part of the Arch Mission Foundation's Lunar Library.
David Copperfield.
That is correct. Second question. German Roland Emmerich is called the master of disaster in films, with his focus on apocalyptic storylines. Okay, Suraj, your questions now. Born in Bengaluru, He studied architecture before becoming a staple of MTV India after winning the MTV VJ Hunt in 1999. A major proponent of electronic music, he has also been associated with the Sunburn Music Festival. Who is this?
Pass.
Navin?
Nikhil Chinnappa.
Nikhil Chinnappa is correct. Second question, Suraj. In 1986, a group of US Marines stationed at Guantanamo Bay were accused of brutalizing Colonel William Alvarado during hazing. Only one of them, David Cox, decided against the plea bargain and fought the case in court. While Cox and others sued the production company for a 1992 movie inspired by these events, he was mysteriously found murdered in a case unsolved till date. Which Rob Reiner directed movie was inspired from this?
Few Good Men.
Few Good Men is correct. Okay, Navin, your questions. Which Roland Emmerich directed film follows geologist Adrian Helmsley and novelist Jackson Curtis as they experience a sequence of events including earthquakes, volcano eruptions, mega tsunamis, and a global flood? The film imagines the what-if scenario of a famous eschatological or end of the world hypothesis and brings it alive on the screen.
Is it 2012?
2012 is correct. Second question. Which trivia-based board game levels the playing field between experienced quizzers and the rest by asking niche questions whose answers are often hard for anyone to find, but which can be guessed? A question could be, what percentage of Indian coastline is a muddy flat, which has the answer 30%. So essentially, all one can do is take 4 blanks, which is essentially the name of the game.
Shot in the dark?
Shot in the dark is correct. That concludes round 2. Starting round 3, Neeran, your questions. Located along the Pasig River, the Malacañan Palace was built in 1750 by Spaniard Don Luis Rocha in the neoclassical style. Today, it serves as the official residence of the president of which nation? The building has been captured multiple times, including during the EDSA 3 riots and the 1986 People Power Revolution.
Is it Romania?
That's wrong. Suraj?
Philippines.
Philippines is correct. Second question, Neeran. In 2003, which magician and stunt artist began an endurance stunt by sealing himself inside a transparent plexiglass box near the London Bridge for 44 days, during which he only drank water? Stunts or illusions such as this, spitting out live frogs and submerging himself for a week in water, have made him a household name globally.
David Blake?
Can you repeat?
David Blaine?
David Blaine is correct. Vinod, your questions. The First Monday in May is a 2016 documentary film that follows the creation of China Through the Looking Glass, the most highly attended exhibit in the history of which annual event? The event is held for the benefit of the Anaventure Costume Center in New York City.
The Met Ball.
That's wrong. Suraj?
The Met Gala.
Met Gala is correct. Vinod, second question. Ahmed Sadawi's 2014 Arabic novel, Blank in Baghdad, is a wartime spin on a classic literary work. The story follows the protagonist collecting body parts of bomb victims in a bid to give them a proper burial, but puts it together to create a body called What's in a Name? Which classic 19th century work fills the blank and forms the inspiration?
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is correct. Suraj, your questions. Founded in 1950 by a Venetian bar owner for the deceased Countess Amalia Nani Mocenigo, whose health required her to consume raw meat, what appetizer is a regular part of an antipasto course in Italy? It is named after a Venetian painter whose paintings, as seen in the image here, used a prominent red pigment akin to the color of raw meat.
Prosciutto.
That's wrong. Neeran?
Pass.
Navin?
Carpaccio.
Carpaccio is correct. Second question, Suraj. Named after the woman in the background of this picture, which eponymous trophy is given to the ladies singles winner at the French Open tennis tournament? Full name needed.
Margaret Court.
That's wrong. Neeran?
Suzanne Longland.
Suzanne Leglen is correct. Navin, your questions. Scholars have surmised that the model for the young hero was Checo, the artist's studio assistant and perpetrated lover. The question is, which villain was the artist modeling for in this 1609-1610 work, his slack-jaw mouth confirming his slaughter? It could be said that the painting catapulted the artist to fame.
Oh, you want the villain, right? So
Yes,
this would be Goliath.
Goliath is correct. Second question. With coordinates of 52.52 degrees north, 13.40 degrees east, the character Andres de Fonollosa in Money Heist goes by the name of which national capital city? The photo should help.
Toronto?
That's wrong. Neeran?
Is it Oslo?
That's wrong. Vinod?
Ottawa.
Please repeat.
Ottawa.
That's wrong. Suraj?
Berlin.
Please repeat.
Berlin.
Berlin is correct. Yes. Okay, that concludes round 3. Starting round 4, Neeran, your questions. The cinematograph was used to show films in what kind of movie theaters where even the poorest classes could pay the entry fee? The word combined the Greek word for a roofed over theater with the entry fee into these establishments and lives on in the name of the first American cable channel for children launched in 1979.
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon is correct. Having risen to fame as a teen star for her role in the horror films I Know What You Did Last Summer and its sequel, which star went on to provide the creepy concepts for a chilling graphic novel about a haunted music box and the eerie effect it has on anyone who comes in possession of it? Her role in the teen comedy Can't Hardly Wait is what shot her to stardom.
Pass.
Vinod,
Jessica Love Hewitt.
can give you that. Suraj,
What?
need an answer.
Jennifer Love
I
Hewitt.
ask you. Who said that?
Jennifer Love Hewitt, right?
Okay, but I think, okay, I can give you, it was at the very last end. You said that Jessica Love Hewitt,
Yeah.
Vinod, yeah, and I can't give you that because of the wrong first name, sorry. Okay, Vinod, your questions now. What protective objects used primarily while consuming beverages take their name from the phrase bottle blank, which are round wheel trays that were originally used to hold decanters? These trays move around the perimeter of a table to each guest during dinner, serving them their drink, just as a ship goes around the shore. 10 seconds, Vinod.
Is it doily?
That's wrong. Navin,
I'll pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Suraj.
Bottle luggers.
That's wrong. It's coaster.
Ah,
Yeah. Second question, Vinod. In 1986, Jeffrey Bowers, a lawyer, successfully sued his firm Baker McKenzie for dismissing him owing to his HIV positive status. While his lawyer was initially reluctant to represent him, fearing contracting AIDS, he agreed to take the case after learning AIDS could not be transmitted through casual contact. The case was depicted in which 1993 film that won Tom Hanks his first Best Actor Oscar?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is correct. Suraj, your questions. With coordinates of 59.91 degrees north, 10.75 degrees east, the character Ratko Dragic goes by the name of which national capital? The photo should help.
Oslo.
Oslo is correct. William George Horner invented what crude mechanical form of a motion picture projector? It consisted of a drum that held a set of still images, which when turned in a circular fashion, created the illusion of motion. This wheel of life gives its name to an American film production company founded by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas.
Pass.
Navin?
Zoetrope.
Zoetrope is correct. Very nice. Navin, your questions now. The 2021 Met Gala theme was In America, a Lexicon of Fashion. Who attended it wearing a white off-the-shoulder gown with the phrase "Tax the Rich" sewn into the back in bold red satin lettering? The look was controversial as many thought it was hypocritical to condemn wealth inequality while paying $35,000 for attending.
This is AOC, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is correct. The primary works of this Persian polymath were in geometry, and his most lasting influence was in the design of the Jalali calendar used from the 11th century till 1925. However, he is known to most people for a literary work featuring many quatrains, a piece of verse complete in 4 rhymed lines that was famously attributed to him by Edward Fitzgerald in his 1859 translation, even though the authorship is uncertain. Who?
Is Khayyam who wrote the Rubaiyat?
Yes, Khayyam is correct.
Yeah, Khayyam. I meant Khayyam. He wrote the Rubaiyat. That's what I said.
Yeah, it says references to the Rubaiyat, but you said Khayyam, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Neeran, your questions, round 5. She started off as VJ on MTV India in the late 2000s and found her niche with the college-going audience, hosting shows like MTV College Beat. She then branched off into acting, though her career never really took off. She courted controversy in 2020 with the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. Who is this?
Pass.
Vinod?
Riya Chakraborty.
Riya Chakraborty is correct. Michael Jackson's song Beat It from the album Thriller features a guitar solo by which guitarist? This guitarist, known for songs like Eruption and Panama, recorded this guitar solo for free. The guitarist passed away in 2020 after a long struggle with cancer.
Is this Prince?
That's wrong. Navin?
Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie Van Halen is correct. Vinod, your questions now. Designed by local architect Michael Philipp Baumann in the 18th century in neoclassical style, the Bellevue Palace pictured here is the official residence of the president of which nation? Its name, the French for beautiful view, derives from its scenic prospect over the course of Spree River. Ten seconds. 5.
Andorra.
That's wrong. Neeran,
Pass.
Suraj,
Belgium.
that's wrong. Navin,
I have two guesses, so I'll pass.
okay, this is Germany.
Yeah, I wanted to say I was torn between Austria and Germany.
Yeah, Spree River is flowing through Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay, second question, Vinod. Named after the automotive company Borg Warner, this eponymous trophy is given to the winners of what sporting competition?
The Indianapolis 500.
Indianapolis 500 is correct. Suraj, your questions. In Turkey, around the 13th century, coffee became popular as a beverage. Here, it was served in small cups without handles, which were placed in ornate holders referred to by the Arabic term for container or envelope to protect the cup and also the fingers of the drinker. What feature, still referred to with the Arabic name, is this? This is the cardboard sleeve on Starbucks coffee cups you may have held.
Pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Navin,
Is it carafe?
that's wrong. Vinod,
Is it Lifafa?
that's wrong as well. Okay. This is a zarf. Z-A-R-F.
I think it's derived from carafe, but yeah, I know that's not the right term. Carafe is also Arabic for country. Anyway, sorry. Bad mistake.
Suraj's second question. For his song In the Closet from the album Dangerous, MJ wanted to collaborate with Madonna. However, the Queen of Pop couldn't accommodate him in her schedule, so MJ decided to collaborate with an actual royal instead. The female vocals on this song were provided by Stephanie, who was the youngest child of which Hollywood movie star?
Grace Kelly.
Grace Kelly is correct.
Sounds-
Navin, your questions. The bullet catch is a stage magic illusion in which a magician appears to catch a bullet fired directly at them, often in the mouth. Name both members of this duo of American comedic magicians who popularized this trick in their TV appearances.
Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller is correct. Having starred in Sin City and voiced Wonder Woman in several animated DC movies, not to mention her role on the Netflix superhero series Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, which actress went on to expand her comic repertoire by co-creating her own original graphic novel titled OCT with writer David Acheson?
Ah, don't know her full name. I'll just say Rodriguez.
That's wrong. Neeran,
Pass.
Vinod,
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson is correct. Neeran, starting round 6. The theme for the 2019 Met Gala was Camp Notes on Fashion, focused on the fashion style of camp, an aesthetic style that regards something as appealing because of its bad taste and ironic value, which alliteratively named Brighter and critics' 1964 essay Notes on Camp was the primary inspiration for this theme.
No idea. Pass.
Suraj,
Pass.
Navin,
Susan Sontag.
Susan Sontag is correct. Second question, Neeran. Which Roland Emmerich directed film from 2004 is based on the 1999 book The Coming Global Superstorm by Art Bell and Whitley Strieber? It depicts catastrophic climatic effects following the disruption of the North Atlantic Ocean circulation, resulting in global cooling and a new ice age.
I think I've seen this, but I can't remember the name. Vortex or something like that.
That's wrong. Suraj,
Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow is correct. Okay, Vinod, your questions. Jacques-Louis David included himself in this 1806-07 painting where he sits in the elevated theater box in the center of the composition, sketching the scene surrounded by aristocrats. What event from a couple of years prior to the painting held at the Notre Dame Cathedral is he sketching? 10 seconds.
Pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Suraj,
Coronation of Napoleon.
Coronation of Napoleon is correct. Second question, Vinod. In Super Trivia Volume 2, published in 1982, serial trivia book author Fred Worth cheekily set a copyright trap and claimed which titular TV sleuth's first name to be Philip. Just one more thing, Philip Blank showed up in the 1984 edition of the Trivial Pursuit board game, 16 years after Peter Falk first played him on TV. The catch, nobody knew his first name, with some claiming he later appeared as Frank. Ten seconds. 5. Need an
Doctor Who.
answer? That's
Doctor
wrong.
Who.
Neeran,
Pass.
Navin,
Is it Columbo?
Columbo is correct. Suraj, your questions. Debuting in 1992 with his show called Blank Mind Control, this Englishman is an illusionist and mentalist most known for his psychological tricks such as guessing the correct lottery numbers. Who is this performer who has also done 2 Netflix shows in 2018 called Sacrifice and Miracle respectively?
Cage.
Sorry, was that your answer?
Yeah, pass.
Okay, Neeran,
Pass.
Vinod,
Darren Brown.
Darren Brown is correct. Very nice. Suraj's second question. Blank and Prada, Impossible Conversation, the team for the 2012 Gala explored the striking affinities between 2 Italian designers from different eras. While one of them was Miuccia Prada, who was the other designer associated closely with the Surrealist movement and the creator of such iconic pieces as the Tear and Lobster Dress and the Shoe Hat.
Pass.
Neeran,
Is it Versace?
that's wrong. Navin,
Don't know why you've given Salvador Dali. It must be Salvador Dali, I guess. Right.
it's wrong. Vinod, need an answer? I have to pass you,
Pass.
sorry.
Pass.
Okay, this is Elsa Schiaparelli.
Oh, of course, I don't know. Shit. Should have gone with
Yeah, Dali is
Bad.
in picture,
I
but she's
know.
right.
I know she's
right
right
next to
beside.
him.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Should have guessed it.
Okay, Navin, your questions now. Designed by Italian architect Joaquin Toesca in neoclassical style, La Moneda was originally a colonial mint house that now serves as the official residence of the president of which nation. It is located on the Bernardo O'Higgins Avenue, or La Alameda, that runs through the heart of its capital city.
Is it Bolivia?
That's wrong. Neeran?
Is it Spain?
That's wrong. Vinod?
Is it Argentina?
That's wrong. Suraj?
Chile.
Chile is correct. Bernardo O'Higgins is
Not
hint.
Organs, yeah.
Okay, Naveen, second question. What invention, credited to the German priest Athanasius Kircher, gets its name from the experience of early audiences who saw devils and angels mysteriously appear on walls? The first film in the history of cinema to consciously reflect upon cinema's origins also had this two-worded title. Film scholars Pisano and Renard see this 1903 film by Georges Méliès as symbolizing how the invention had been replaced in entertainment by film. Ten seconds.
I'll
Need
go
an
with light projector.
answer? That's wrong. Neeran?
Pass.
Vinod?
Pass.
Suraj?
Pass.
Okay, this is Magic Lantern.
Ah, very nice. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, that concludes round 6. Starting round 7, Neeran, your questions. Blank Blank, Peel, Pinch, Pucker, Puncture is a book that traces the evolution in the specific protective design. Originally, they were homemade hacks where people would just tear a ragged wedge from the side and hope for the best. This led to the first peel variation in which the tearing process was aided by perforations. The 1980s saw a profusion of variants such as the pinch and puncture. Currently, the pucker has become the ergonomic industry standard. Fill in the blank, or what is the protective design element? Sorry, it's fill in the blanks. 2 words.
Is it can opener?
That's wrong. Vinod?
Pass.
Suraj?
Pass.
Naveen?
Pass.
Okay, these are coffee lids. Whole quad is about coffee. Okay, second question. What was the name of this eponymous trophy that existed from 1930 to 1970, awarded 9 times in that period, of which 3 were won by the same group?
Can you scroll down a little, please? Can't see the film.
Is it the Jules Rimet Cup?
Jules Rimet is correct. Vinod, your questions. Name the Australian guitarist who was to be the lead guitarist on Michael Jackson's This Is It concert series. She had earlier performed with Alice Cooper and Carrie Underwood. She found fame in India after A.R. Rahman collaborated with her on the song Sada Haq for the film Rockstar.
Pass.
Neeran?
Pass.
Suraj?
Pass.
Naveen?
Pass.
Okay, this is Orianti. Which actress and comedian's popularity skyrocketed among comic book aficionados when she created the cult web series The Guild, loosely based on her real-life gaming history? Halfway through the show, she released the first issue of the eponymous graphic novel that acts as a prequel to the web series. She's probably known outside the comic gaming communities for her role as V in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Suraj,
Pass.
Navin.
Pass.
Okay, this is Felicia Day. Suraj, which Roland Emmerich directed film was dedicated to film producer Tomoyuki Tanaka, who died in April 1997. The movie starts off with viewers being shown that an iguana nest is exposed to the fallout of a military nuclear test in French Polynesia.
Godzilla.
Godzilla is correct. Second question. In the 90s, which trivia-based board game, apt for large teams, was a big hit, especially because it was light on the quiz part and heavy on activities to perform as a group, like clay modeling or even doing impressions? Advertising itself as the quiz for your whole brain, its name is an anatomical nod to a synonym of a skull.
Pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Navin,
Pass.
Vinod.
Pass.
Okay, this is cranium. Navin, your questions now. While Spain's biggest appetizer export is tapas, what type of appetizers are more common in northern Spanish regions such as Basque County and Cantabria? It is essentially bread topped with various savory items and spiked with a toothpick, consumed along with local white wine. Ten seconds.
Devil on horseback.
That's wrong. Neeran,
Pass.
Vinod,
I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'd say PINXO. Pinkso?
yeah, it's pincho, but I can give you that.
Yeah.
I can give you that. That's close enough. Pincho or pinchu, or this is how it's actually
I think
spelled
yeah,
original.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Navin, second question. In the 1940 case of State of Connecticut versus Joseph Spell, an African-American chauffeur was accused of raping Eleanor Strubbing, his employer. After a 13-hour-long deliberation, an all-white jury acquitted Spell. This case was depicted in which 2017 film starring Chadwick Boseman as the title character, Spell's lawyer, who would go on to be the first African-American justice of the U.S. Supreme Court?
Pass.
Neeran,
Pass.
Suraj,
Marshall.
Marshall is correct. Okay, that concludes round 7. Before we head to the last round, it's a bit even between Navin on 14 and Suraj and Vinod on 13. So everything to play for in this last round. Neeran, your question. The title and subject of a 1975 poetry collection by John Ashbery comes from a work of the same name by the 16th century artist Parmigianino. This painting depicts the young Parmigianino, then 21, in the middle of a room with his hand in the foreground appearing greatly elongated and distorted by the use of what titular object that reflects light outwards and is seen on the side of a car?
Mirror.
Prompt.
Rear view mirror.
That's wrong. Navin,
I'll pass.
Vinod,
Concave mirror.
that's wrong. Suraj,
Convex mirror.
Convex mirror is correct. Yeah. It specifically says a prompt on mirror, concave mirror is wrong. Please don't prompt on it. So a bit unlucky there. Vinod, second question, Neeran. In the list of the top 105 Arabic novels of the 20th century, as selected by the Arab Writers Union, which Nobel laureate's Cairo trilogy comes in at number 1?
Khalid Hosseini?
That's wrong. Navin?
Naguib Mahfouz.
Naguib Mahfouz is correct. Okay, Vinod, your questions. With coordinates of 39.73 degrees north and 104.99 degrees west, the character Daniel Ramos goes by the name of which capital city of a first-level administrative division in a particular country? The photo should help. Ten seconds.
The capital city of a first level administrative division.
5 seconds. Need an answer. I have to pass you, sorry. Neeran?
Reykjavik.
Neeran?
Toronto?
That's wrong. Navin?
Pass.
Suraj?
Whitehorse.
That's wrong. This is Denver. It's a capital of the it's a capital of the state of Colorado in USA, which is the first level administrative division state. Okay, second question, Vinod. When MTV India started operations with a 2.5-hour slot on DD Metro in 1994, one of the most popular VJs was this Bollywood star kid who had just finished the course at the Lee Strasberg School of Acting. While his acting career never really took off, he nevertheless became a popular VJ hosting show like MTV Fresh, MTV Most Wanted, and India Hit List. Identify him and full name needed. Ten seconds.
Rahul Khanna.
Rahul Khanna is correct. Very nice. Suraj, your questions. The presidential palace came to be in the 14th century when Jogalia, Grand Duke of this nation and also a later king of a neighboring nation, gave land to the bishop's diocese. Which nation's president sits out of this neoclassical building worked on by architects such as Vasily Stazov? This replaced the historical presidential palace in the old town of Kaunas.
Lithuania.
Lithuania is correct. Second question. Dr. Lilia Bina, director of the Senior Center in Kiryat Tivon, Israel, has developed an approach to help residents to deal with old age using stories like Tehillah, by which Nobel laureate. The only Hebrew writer to win the Nobel, he got his pen name from his first story, Agunat, a Jewish legal term referring to a married woman whose husband refuses to grant her a divorce.
Amos. Something. Pass.
Okay, Neeran,
Pass.
Navin,
Pass.
Vinod,
Pass.
okay, this is Shmuel Yosef Agnon. Yeah, he was born Cherkess, so I could have accepted that as well. Last two questions, Navin, your turn. She started off on MTV hosting shows like Hip Shakers, which aimed to teach its audience how to dance before becoming a regular on MTV Chill Out. After MTV, she has also hosted cooking shows for NDTV Good Times. She's married to the actor Arshad Warsi. Who is she?
Maria Goretti.
Maria Goretti is correct. And last question. What is the name of this eponymous trophy that has been contested since 1892-93, now played between 16? It was established just 1 year after Englishman Henry North Holroyd visited a foreign country.
The Sheffield Shield, is it?
Sheffield Shield is correct. And that concludes this game. Navin wins it with 17. Suraj is second with 15. Vinod third with 14. And Neeran fourth with 7.
Thanks for reading.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roko. Do
Thank
you have
you
any
very
tie
much.
breaks? Do you have any tie break questions?
Yeah, but I'm gonna stop recording now.